By the end of this video, even absolute Jira beginners will know how to create dashboards that show you exactly what you want to see. I'll explain what a dashboard is, how filters work, and how you can make the most of your widgets. Whether you just want to track your own work, see how the team's performing, or share information with key stakeholders, dashboards are a great way to do this. My aim of this video is to cover the absolute basics, but give you the fundamental understanding so you can customize them however you want to. Let's get into it. Here we are. This is my really basic Jira dashboard. I've called it Sam's dashboard, which you can see at the top, and it's got a few different widgets that you can see as I scroll down the page. Now, I've deliberately kept this as simple as possible. I'm using some example data and I want to make it clear what a dashboard is and how it works. Now, the first thing to point out is most dashboard widgets, which are these different boxes, are powered by filters. And I'm using a couple of filters here. One's called version 1.0 backlog. The other one is called version 2.0 backlog. So what is a filter? Well, let's click on one of these and I will show you. As you likely know by now, Jira has a lot of powerful technology. It can show you lots of lists of different items in different ways, and often that can get a bit confusing. But you can decide what specifically you want to see on Jira, and you can do this through filters. So this filter here is filtering on a dummy project that I've created called e-commerce website, and I've filtered particularly on a set of different types of backlog items, only on stories and bugs. For instance, I haven't included groups of stories, for instance, like epics. I've just kept it as very simple backlog items like stories and bugs. And what I want to see is only the ones that are relevant for a particular version of the product that I'm working towards. And in my project, I am using versions to do this, fixed versions. So I've filtered on one set of those called 1.0. But these filters could be on anything. It could be I just want to see items in a particular epic. It could be that I want to see all of my stories. I want to see only my bugs, whatever you want it to be. But the reason for creating these is you can edit what lists you want to see within particular items on your dashboard and then save them, so that when you go back to your dashboard, you can see them in action. So going back to my dashboard now, I've got quite a basic setup here. So each of the items are pretty simple, but you can see, for instance, I've got a pie chart that I've created that shows all of the backlog items. So all the user stories and bugs in version 1.0. And the way this is working, I'll show you. If I click on edit, it will bring up a slightly different view, and I can actually go and view and edit each of these different items. If I click configure, you'll see that this is a pie chart and it is filtered on that version 1.0 backlog filter. And then I am deciding what to see from there. Now I've called it as a title, version 1.0 backlog status. And I did that because I'm filtering on status, but you can see I could filter on lots of stuff here. I could filter by assignee, for instance. If I click and save that, it will update this same filter, but it's showing what's unassigned in this case and what's assigned to me, as Sam. Now you might have lots of different people in your team. You might then see a breakdown of those people, for instance. I'll just change that back. So I do that by clicking configure, and then I'll change the statistic type to status and press save. And each of these widgets on here are showing views of information filtered by that way. So I've got another component here which lists all of the items in my filter, and it does it in a really neat way. I can edit this to decide what I see in particular. For instance, I've decided what columns to display, but I could easily add other ones to display on here. And as you'll notice that most of these, I like to make them auto refresh. So every 15 minutes, it comes up with the latest version of information. When I've worked sometimes in teams, I've actually had a board in the room with us that's just showing the Jira status. And it's a great way for everyone to know what's going on at a macro level. You'll see then I've got a few other widgets on here, which are all showing similar information. Some of them are using my version 2.0 filter, whereas most of them are using just my version 1.0 filter, and then I'm just showing different information. I'm a big fan of the pie chart here, for instance. I'm showing here priority, so of those items in version 1.0. How many of those are low, medium or high priority? Well, because it's my first version, actually most of them are medium or high, but you can see the split. And this is basically all there is to building dashboards. And you can decide what filters you use and also what widgets, what gadgets you include on here too. You'll see there's a whole host of gadgets on the right hand side. And if you ever want to add a new gadget, you just open this section. I'll close it here. You'll see that if you want to reopen it, you click add gadget and you just add one of these wherever you want. So let's say, for instance, I want to try this bubble chart. I'll click add. It will appear in here and then I can configure it however I want. And I can also move it around just by hovering over the top section, clicking and dragging it. So I can drag it over to here, for instance. I'm going to cancel that one because I don't want it. But it's super simple, just like that. And essentially, that's all that there is to creating dashboards. You add your filters, you need to go and create them, decide what information you want to show, and what gadget or widget you want to show it in, and how. That's my beginner's guide to how you can create Jira dashboards. If you found it useful, I'd love it if you could like this video and maybe think about subscribing to this channel. I'm a product manager, I've got well over a decade of experience and I'm showing my best tips of how to use tools like this. So if that's something you're interested in, why not subscribe? I absolutely love Jira dashboards. I find that as I'm working on product teams, I use them more and more as the product goes on because it helps you understand not just what people are working on, but how are we doing overall? What's our velocity as a team? But are we working towards the real outcomes too? Because you can just start tracking more and more information as the number of tasks and tickets grows. And if I'm honest, as it grows, it becomes a bit of a mess. It becomes so complicated. There's so much going on. Dashboards are a really great way to help simplify that picture. So this is just a start and I hope you get to make the most out of them. And if you find great tools or ways of using dashboards themselves, I'd love it if you could let me know too in the comments below. For now, that's all I'm going to cover for today. I hope you found it useful and I will see you on the next one.